Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another weekly forecast slash breakdown. And before we get started, as usual, we're going to break down our trades we took last week and then eventually look at goals forecast for the upcoming week. So if we quickly break down the last week, our main expectation for last week was if price ended up pushing back below 2700, I'm expecting for a retracement to continue lower. I'll be expecting bearish moves. My favor was sort of with the bearish side this week, and we ended up sort of trying to capitalize on one of the buys at the start of the week, which ended up failing, which was the first 0.5% loss we ended up taking. Because it was a Monday, I wanted to come in with that low risk, so I dropped the risk down to 0.5. And then what ended up happening is that market gave us a potential sell position, right? Which I ended up sharing on the VIPs, but I didn't share on the free channel. And that's obviously, I'm just sharing stuff for insights on the free channel. If you wanted those guided entries to follow me directly, then yes, do join me on the VIP side. So it did cause a bit of confusion when I did send it. So I had to quickly mention saying that you just got to be quick, right? Sometimes, yes, we were buying and then we immediately were selling. So a lot of people did get confused on the free channel. But hey, I'm just sending like what we're doing. If you wanted those VIP, if you wanted to follow me directly, hey, jump over on the VIP side. No need to get a bit salty about it. But other than that, the direction was now bearish, and you can see that the first trade TP1 got hit. Well, TP2 ended up getting hit overnight, 130 pips, and then we managed to catch another sell, I believe, which was on the Tuesday, which ended up I believe that ended up getting closed at break even because it was a later trade. So price did end up coming back up. But this was the day where the election results came in. So it was overnight. The election results came in and price ended up pushing all the way back up. Took us out at entry and then ended up giving us a big collapse. So we ended up missing out on this move. So it was okay though, because it was one of those overnight trades, which I didn't want to sort of be in anyway. But yeah, price absolutely collapsed here once it found out big boy Trump is back in business. You know what I'm saying? But after that, next day, price ended up falling and it fell into our buy zone, which we were looking at a couple of weeks ago. So as price ended up making this move, I was expecting for price to pull back here. But as you can see, price doesn't immediately always pull back. So those people who wanted to sell potentially on this way up, make sure you guys had stop losses, because you could see it wanted to push up a bit more and then come back down. So just a word of warning, because I have had a few conversations with a few members or students who end up selling as we break certain highs, but then say that, oh, how come it's not stopping? It's just one of those ones. You don't know when it's going to stop. You have to wait for that confirmation before entering your sell. You can't just sell on a break of a high and expect it to come and pull back unless it's a key area and it's given confirmation, you know? But anyway, back to it. You can see that price, we were expecting for price to start turning around from here. And let's have a look at what ended up happening. Price did end up pushing up. Yes, let's switch over to the chart and have a look at what happened. So you can see this was your area right here, where I was monitoring a potential push up, and then you can see that price ended up pushing down, pushing back above this swing point here, and then around about this area here was FOMC, and this is when I ended up sharing that I was monitoring. Here's your FOMC right here, right? So there's your interest rate sort of decision, and then we end up getting to the press conference where we end up getting our main move. Look at this, no volatility at all. Price started consolidating. A lot of people entered sells, but I was waiting for this low to get taken out and these highs to be kept intact, right? So what ended up happening is price ended up breaking these lows here. Now the only way I'm getting in a buy is if we break a high. This tells me that price is breaking structure. Otherwise, price would retrace halfway and then push lower. Retrace halfway and push lower. Keep pushing down. But I waited for this high to get taken out. And then we wait for a retracement. Let's go to the next post. And let's see if we can zoom in here. Can we zoom in? Right. So what ended up happening is that the low got taken out. I waited for that high to get taken out, which confirmed. Price pushed back into this mini sort of order block right here, and that's when we are in. We got in our trades. Stop loss is close to this low. We don't want price to start pushing back down here, because that then tells us price is failing and price wants to go lower. So you can see from here, we were in. Let's go to the next page. Next, what's going on here? Not now. And then here, you can see that price ended up pushing up from this area. That was a fantastic trade. We ended up taking out that initial FOMC high where a lot of people would have placed their stop losses if they were selling. And we have these equal highs right here, which is telling me, yep, price wants to push up. Right. Amazing trade there, 140 pips, took 90%, went back to bed. I had a feeling that price would want to turn around. I was debating to myself, should I sell? Should I sell? I don't know. Let's have a look at the chart and why I would potentially look to sell. So my initial thoughts was that if price wants to push back down, we'd push back into this area and this is where we would buy, right? So forget everything on the right. If price pushed down with FOMC, we would look for buys, but we didn't. So my second approach was, we have a 1 hour fair value gap up here. So if price wants to push up, we're going to sell, right? Now, we ended up taking the sort of intraday buy, right? This smaller buy right here, which is not small at all. It's clearly quite a decent amount of pips right there. It's around 140, 150 pips. So we were happy with that. So we didn't need to even engage in the sales. So because this was overnight, we left it. But price ended up tapping into this 1 hour fair value gap. So if you were aggressive with it, and again, I did share this on my VIP channel. So if you guys wanted to follow those sort of scenarios, you could have done so. Where is it? There. As you can see, look, price tapping the 1 hour fair value gap and fall back down. Let me open the chart and have a look at what happened. Price tapped in the 1 hour fair value gap and fell back down. See, nice and clean stuff. So my analysis does work in certain other ways as well. So if you wanted to sort of follow those and that's a part of your strategy, go for it. But anyway, let me zoom back out. So this is the 1 hour fair value gap I was talking about. Very clear structure based on the sort of immediate election drop. Remember at the start of the video, I did say that if we get a break below that 2700, which actually extended further, you wait for a retracement and you look to continue. That's exactly what happened. See, the bias is very key. So if you have a bias for the start of the week, it will help you in the later trades. So we know that price is looking a bit bearish, right? So we have to wait for that retracement and then continue our sells. This is what allowed me to be a bit more confident in the sell positions. Now, we already made our money on this buy here, so that's Thursday done right there. Clean sort of trade based on some sort of breaker structure, and we end up taking the buy. Now let's talk about what happened on Friday, right? So you can see that price has now fallen back down here and taken out a swing point. So the whole point of the swing point for our strategy is, you can see that price is now broken structure, right? All we have to do is just wait for a retracement and then push back down. A lot of people I did see were selling around about here. But the thing is, right, I know gold. Me and gold have been buddies for quite a while now. You know, I know that gold likes to kind of over retrace sometimes. And if there's key areas, yeah, we let it go there, right? What do you see on the 1 hour time frame that's marked in the purple box up here? It's a 1 hour fair value gap, yes. So we also see this one here. But the thing is, if there's one above, and around this time was about London Open and price is already inside it, and then we got to US and price is still pushing inside it, I had a feeling that if I waited, this is where the timing comes into play. Because we waited for the right time, right? You can see that the timing where we normally enter, price was in the higher box. I'm not entering earlier, I'm not entering at London session, I'm only entering at US session when we want to trade. And that's where price wants to sort of give us that, right, we're in the right zone now. So if you guys were waiting on the right timing, you wouldn't be in any drawdown if you sold it earlier. You have now waited. Let's have a look at any positions we can get in. And it's quite simple. All we have to do, drop down on the lower time frames and look for some breaker structures, right? And where do we get that? Let's go to the 1 minute time frame. So you can see how all the pieces start to fit together. Price is now tapped into my zone. 1 hour fair value gap again. Same as this one, right? Another 1 hour fair value gap is quite key. Now we just look for price to turn around because we're in the right time. So now we have to look for price to start making equal lows and start breaking these lows. And guess what we got? Swing point right there. I ended up entering a little earlier based on this area here. Stop loss was up there. We ended up sending that. You can see we ended up getting an immediate drop. Price then broke this swing point and then gave us another retracement. So if you didn't get in, that would have been another entry for you as well on that retracement. And then from then, we ended up getting a nice collapse. Price then consolidated, being Friday. And I'm expecting price to start pushing back below this previous low there. And that's why I wanted to hold this over the weekend. And this goes to show that key levels, if you have them marked up, it really helps when you're trading. It really helps what you're targeting. And now if I start removing some of these lines, we can now slowly get into next week's forecast for gold. So gold around this area here, we have a potential sell position, which on some accounts I will take most of my profits here. On some accounts I would like to swing back into this area. Why? Because this was a key buying area right here. We ended up getting a breaker structure like this, and now we're slowly turning back to retest this area. Now I would like to see exactly what happens around this area. Does price want to sort of, do some of this stuff and then start pushing up? That would be great, because then that will give us a potential buy position here for price to get back above these, this sort of manipulation, very strong area here. But if price wants to sort of fail and start pushing towards the lows, then we're likely to see price start, turning into a bearish. But I don't think that will happen. If I zoom out on the 1 hour time frame, this is a very, very key area here. Price is now giving us a retracement, and we're still bullish, right? On the higher time frames, don't get me wrong, gold is still bullish. So we got to see what's happening on these this sort of daily time frame here. So if we mark up the daily time frame, we can see that we have a very key area where price has reacted from already around about here. You can even potentially use this sort of drop order block right there. So price has dropped and then pushed back out, came back to retest it. So this is your area here. If price comes into this area, you want to look for buys, and price is now slowly coming back to retrace this swing point break. So I would like to see certain price action where price pushes down into this, potentially pushes a little lower just in case to take out the early buyers, break structure, retest, and then fly and start taking out some of those highs. That's going to be my sort of go-to move for the start of this week. Again, this benefits us in terms of the sell as well, because we get to push down first and then we start catching the buys. Do we have any sort of news here? We've got Wednesday 13th. What's going on? Ooh, good old CPI. Hello, welcome back. So we've got CPI on Wednesday, right? Thursday PPI, Friday, not Thursday speech, and nothing on Friday. So you know what days, right? You're seeing it from the results. If we go down to the bottom here and go over to this, you know that Thursday, Fridays has been our strong days, right? Forget US30, we're still working on that. Don't look at that. But gold, Thursday, Fridays have been our strong day. So we know that we're going to be watching that Wednesday, going to be seeing what happens on that CPI, and then start entering our main positions on that Thursday and Friday if it sets up. So this is what we want to see. We want to see price pull back, see how it sort of consolidates Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, CPI gives us that structure break, and then Thursday continues the move back above here. So that's my sort of weekly forecast going into this week. The higher time frame is lining up for bullishness, right? So we gotta sort of wait till the lower time frame starts aligning into bullishness. Let me zoom out here. We're on the 4 hour time frame. What do we have right here? We still have a big chunk of imbalance on the 4 hour time frame where price could tap into. You want to see how price reacts to this sort of 4 hour imbalance here. If price starts closing below, you need to look at the bodies. If the bodies stay inside here, then yes, you're still valid in sort of looking at your buys on the lower time frame. But if the bodies start closing below here, you got to be a bit careful, depending if CPI is coming up as well. So if price is starting to close lower and lower, CPI could give you that bearish move to continue the break, and then price would end up falling lower. If this 4-hour order block, 4-hour fair value gap is respected and price fails to close below it, then yes, you can continue to look for your buy positions to push up higher, because again, we do have this daily fair value gap here the price did tap into, which helped our sell position on Friday, and we have certain swing highs that we need to look for price to push back up. But it's quite early at the moment. Let's wait for CPI, and then we can give you guys more sort of updates, and you'll get those updates in the free channel if you guys are not. So please look at the links in the description. If you guys haven't already, you'll find some discount links. You'll find free access to the free channel, actually, which doesn't make sense, and some certain access to our partner and broker if you haven't already, where you get access to copy trading. I'm not going to mention too much about that just yet, because I'm not ready to promote it as much. But yep, if you're interested in that, don't forget to look down in the description. That's pretty much it. So let's give a summary on what we're expecting, so I can get a quick thumbnail as well. I'm expecting for price to push back into this area and then give us some sort of reversal signs. And if price can give us that reversal sign, then I'll be expecting for price to start pushing back above and pushing for these highs and back in to this sort of manipulation area. And if we can get back into this manipulation area, yep, we're definitely going to be targeting those equal highs and start breaking that sort of structure. That's pretty much it from this weekly forecast. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment if you learned something. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's been Oasis FX. Peace out.